Aloha everybody, here I am again. Uh, the winter, as can say now, behind us, and survived this, but it was harder than the before winters. My fingers damaged a lot of this year. I had that kind pain which wasn't before, and my fingers is shaking since then, more than before, and now around 10 Celsius in the room, and the weather will better. For the plans to this year, had many plans before. I had many times at winter to think about them. Of course, a lot of them was connected to games, streams, living, gameplay, maybe some tutorial, etc. But things happened at winter and end of winter, which make my position more worse than before. Some people like trolling me in the social media, concretely in Facebook, and when I said them they are trolling, why they trolling with me and they are trolls, I get a promise to I will be eating. Why I call them, how can I say this, I must translate because this in Hungarian and not really know these words. Shortly, why I called him a jerk, gay, transsexual, someone who have identical problems. I said only he is a troll because he trolling anything what I posting. When I say the truth, what happened to my life, and not what the people thinking around about my life, that's not true. They know the truth about hundreds of kilometers. They know anything about my family. I have this problem, this loan, my legacy. Years ago, around 24, my mother went to one of the biggest bank in Hungary, the OTP, and the plan was the bank will the the OTP will the bank which make the social housing program contact to the government, and the workers agent in the bank talked my mother to make a loan versus the social government helping project. And my brother knew about it, and they made as a secret before me with my mother. My brother went to out the country years ago, and he never wanted make that loan to repay. He doesn't think about this house, this village, this anything around here in the country. He said years ago he will not live in Hungary anymore, and that loan wasn't necessary. That loan went to some parts went food, but mostly went clothes and covering for my brother's fun. My brother went with his friends to enjoy parties and things, and across the years this loan because wasn't paid went huge, and all of on me. And other part I had other house, and when I sold it, that money what I get from it, bigger part again went to my brother's expenses. He's my half brother, but I never thought about it. I left him as my full brother who died when we was there, and my brother always I was needed when needed money, and after these at now end of February I get a message from him in the book. He can't help me out because he have problems, etc, etc. And when I said about how my house price went for his fun things, because he had the food, he had the clothes, he had anything what need to go to school, etc, etc. And this was just the fun parts, and same things. He said he can't do the same sacrifice as I did. I never asked him, that was their words, I never asked him, he give me everything what he have, but it's funny, he live in Holland now, and it's funny, it's too big sacrifice to him to send home, not only now, before my mother dies 4 years ago, send about 1 or 2 day salary per month, and he also can be fun, go party, go buy shopping, trade market, cool things, etc, etc. And really funny, as many people around the village, good example the girls, how love him. Yeah, he was the party boy, he went fun, but from my pocket, my money, my things. My mother's also did some helping others, give the money, some people loan without interest on it, but that's money outside, still outside now. When my mother died, since then nobody afraid of give that money back to me. My mother gave per person the money, but it was from my pocket. Some interesting things happening around, and when that's people who confuse what is the true word meaning, and made promise to will beat me when we met. I don't know what the people are thinking about the word about me, but it's really interest in the age of internet, in the age of technology. They can't search for the words what they don't know. They using big words. How much they helped me with what? Had a conversation before, someone, that's one who I owe the only my personal 1000 euro loan. I didn't take care of what the people's tell me as helping. I know what helped me out of the problems. I know how can I build up myself again. Just everybody forgot I have no money, I in huge debt, and my body maybe not looking so sorry, visible, but at the 17 winter I lost more than 20 kilos, but as said at beginning of 18, that was the problem, because not went from my fat factor, but went from my muscle part, and my stamina, my strength is very low level, and my speed around 3 kilometers per hour, and my distance that I can do very shortly distance when I get my shoes on my feet. If I just sitting here before the monitor or around the house 1-2 hour, and my foot's in pain. This not good walking shoes, and I am a registered member, was, of the government, sorry, don't know the English word for it, the government job office, that who someone jobless, you register there, and they job, they work is find you something what you can do, you get income, paid tax forward, etc, etc. I am registered in 2011. I started working after sometimes. When I worked, my active job looking status was suspended. When I lost job, was active again. I did one learning courses across the government social jobless care program, and that was in summer of 2014. Started in June, end of June, and finished in next year January. And the start was a interest beginning, because the government, the job care office paying the traveling fees, they buying the people's the ticket, but the local ticket in the city you must buy it, and they will pay back the amount of money later for you the next month. And that was the point, but the officer at the jobless center, job care office, forgot mention to me, you need ask for a taxed receipt. Without it, the job care center can't pay you back the money what you paid from yourself. And the monthly ticket is unique. It contains your name, your ID number. Nobody else can use it. You can't get from anybody who bought it previously and give to you. But without that taxed receipt, they just didn't pay it back for you. And this was a huge loss because that monthly ticket costed 7,000 forint, and we get from the for the course monthly around, if I remember well, 64 or 58, between 58 and 64,000 forints. This is not much. I talked to people who was jobless around Europe. They get around 1,000 euros. That was around that time also 300,000 forint, and they was able to pay their bills, buy food, go for looking for jobs, etc., etc., etc. And one of my biggest problem this year now, I get this week a letter from the job care office, and they told me in that mail I was removed from the registration because I didn't do my reporting thing, what time by time required to be in the system. My final date when must report was February 12th, and I sent the reporting email because I living around 15-20 kilometers from the office, and the mass transit very bad. If I going early morning with 2 bus can go to the office, and back to home I must wait hours, or just can walking to home. And this is a huge thing because I can't walking that long distance, and was made you can reporting by email, but sometimes in the year you must personally going to the office, but across you don't require go to every month inside the office. And I sent the email at February 11th, and they replied it at February 12th, and they said the laws changed, surprise, and they can't accept the emailing reporting for more. Yes, you have no jobs, you have no income, you have no saved money, you have nothing, and you must go too far from your location to reporting, because some people in the big office up there thinking this will good. Excuse me. And the interest part, they answered me 12th, and they said I have 5 days to go inside the office and reporting personally. I answered them immediately, same day, some hours later only. I have no money to go in. I didn't find anybody who take me in, and I haven't that physical condition I can walking that distance. And if you say, look, 12 plus 5 is 17, but actually when any official thing says about days, bigger part of is the working days without the weekend. But if you counting the weekends, 12 plus 5 equal 17, and I was my thing was in progress, and I was removed in 12 from the system. This is how the job care office doing their job. As I talked about earlier, I must paid for myself the monthly ticket. That was a huge amount of money to me. The office didn't cover it up later. They didn't made any attention to the officer who didn't told me that in time. She of course doesn't paid that to me. Last year December was another learning courses. What I thought I can do it, I can learn it. Maybe as we in a tourism thingy places around can work with it. But the job care office changed the practical place from one side to the another, and the another side was that kind of place where the mass transit traveling without car, you can do it. People around the next neighbor villages even not said they wanna join to this, but they just flatline walking. I have some hills too, and that really can be hard, except if you walking home at end of the day, and this is really too big. The distance from the office plus about another 15 kilometers. I can't walk in my full energy status that nearly 30 kilometer distance per day, about 2 times, and the office didn't made the papers who joining want to joining to this course will take them to the place. No, they paying the monthly mass transit ticket, but the bus corporation can't make lines there, which is good timing. If I going at early morning from here, I must after 40 minutes traveling with two bus, I must waiting around about 2 hours to can go to the third bus, and then can go to the place where was the market. And back to home, not an option. The informal people at the bus center can't even tell me anything about it. And this is, I was removed. I sent another email, and the funny things, I must send a conversation to that office. That officers deleted my status because their faults, and the cause, as they wrote in the letter, black and white, anyone can see it. I posted in the Facebook also, and that's when the trolls started attack me again, because I didn't did the report personally or email. I was removed at 20th of February, 12th of February, and this is interesting. The room temperature around 10 Celsius now. The outside temperature when sun is shining, as now can see the light behind me, around 13-14 Celsius maybe. My fingers still cold. I dropping things around my home. My lucky they didn't broke, just must get them back from the ground, and leaning also sometimes hard to me. And back again, as people said, I look great. I didn't lost weight. Yeah, I didn't lost weight that much that I lost last year, that last winter. That was more than 20 kilograms. Now I lost less, but lost it. And not the fat losing part is the problem. Now the thing you didn't eating, the starving, the thing your body fallen, and when these people know I eating what I eating, I will make a series about it. I going maybe now the 7th week for the social kitchen fooding program, which anybody who eat mensa food in schools and work places, college, I mean collegium, not college, and the Eastern Europe style, not the Western. If you're looking around the net, example YouTube, you can find many food things which retro mensa foods around Europe, and have significant difference about the things. Shortly, yesterday meal was 4 pieces of boiled cooking that normally around minimum 2 or 3 times bigger and filled with jam. These are under the average mensa food. They flat, they jam filling less than when you get a bottle of jam and take the jam out from the bottle, and what the side of the bottle of the stay there. And the most interesting part of this food, this is the only food for me now. Maybe it have calories, but for your starving point, not calories counting, but the amount. And this food around between 2 and 3 deciliter. Sometimes the dinner is soup. That is a fantastic thing, but for the starving people, soup is nothing, because it's just liquid, and the liquid is fast go in, fast go out. It's nothing about starving. And because my ears, the diabetes and other things, I am basically so hungry, and because I lost many muscle, my body always yelling me, needing replace the lost things, the protein, amino acids, mineral things, and vitamins. And this is a huge feeling pain all the time, and this is not much, but that's all I have now. And I really don't know how people are thinking about things, and really funny when they know things about me, and the one person who I owe that 1,000 euro less, because I gift him the money that was cover my medicines, but I didn't get medicines since years, when I lost my job. This is another funny story. And he joining the trolling one in Facebook, of course, with his fake account, with a fake name, with a fake photo. Thanks, Kyle. I love you much. I will pay you back every cent. As I said, I never forgot repay my bills. And when he say also, I just playing around and sleeping all the day. Yeah, yay! Finally, sorry about this tractor. Finally, I get the state. I can sleep. When I start sleeping, I sleeping 10 or 12 or more hours, and wake up as can see my eyes too tired and too bad shape. The sleeping helping not too much, small amount recovery to my body, but without building up components, it can't repair itself. And when I jump in and out to, as example, GTA, where to get the actual event rewards, this is calling big time playing. And have anytime from Kayo the Julius private message in Skype. Why I get free money in GTA? Why I get free food in real life? But when he saw the food, I sent him some picture about it. He just laughed about it. He one time eating much more as that amount, and of course quality food. And when people tell their thinkings, their thoughts about me, about anything else around the world, why they can't do with their name, their real name, their real face? Because trolls didn't use their names, their real identity. And easier attack people. And when Caillou and others telling me the super solving things to my problems, they say nice things, good things. Yeah, searching the net. Go walk personally to corps for work. Yeah. Have no money to travel in the city. Haven't energy to walking across hours. Haven't capacity to do these things. And the final and best things, when peoples who eating well quality food, they proud of it, not I told it, they telling it to me, the starving, they always and TS and Skype and etc. they proving what and how many food they get eaten, and they haven't energy for this, for that, for them. But I, with the null, almost null energy, I can walk above 10, 20, 30 kilometers per session, and because I must go home, I can walk that amount twice per day. plus the walking amount in the learning course when you must practice the things, etc., etc. And I am the hippo Honda. I was in hospital, I was in labor, I was in doctor years ago. I have proofs. I have years as hypertonia and diabetes and some other stuff like I don't know the English word about it, lumbago ischias. This is a bad thing when you moving your body get a pain. You can't move more back to normal state. My face was across same shape like now. This was the basic shape. Now at winter, when get the frozen damages, now a little better. Was some frozen point around my hand. These is still visible. I don't know. And my lucky, they don't paying now. I now can touch them, not paying. But when I tried make a fist or make line to my fingers was a big pain, and without moving was also a pain. And this is what was bad thing, because before winters was huge, because I have no heating, and everybody wondering, oh, how you don't die without heating. But nobody helped me a thing about it. That straw who get me a nice promise will beat me when we meeting. He also knows someone who freely chop my firewood for free. He knows it, but nobody tell me he knows about him. The people either not say, and this is the help that I get from people. They know the solution, and that's helped me out anything. I don't know. Yesterday arrived the annual social firewood thing, and after I met some people, and he said, you get now the you have get now the firewood, you will not frozen now. Yes, thank for the nature. I have 10 Celsius in the room. I hope now I will not frozen in my home. In my broken home, what I showed before, and some little part can visible now too, as I have around across the free wall, and the fourth, of course, but that's almost invisible 1 millimeter white cracks. but they're around 2 4 finger wide cracks. The walls will falling out. The walls is sliding. I don't know why. This building is really old. This is a peasant farmer, like I don't know how name it, stone building, and the time when was built, they didn't use cement, no basement, no hard base of it, but some years ago massive transit started around our roads, and this making earthquakes, real tremors, and these tremors damaging the houses, but I don't know how and why there are slidings. When the house outside have a small, maybe you saw in the before videos, stairs, between the house and the stairs have a space. One part is just a half millimeter, other part is a 2 finger wide, and they sliding. The house inside, the wall and the corridor, ground floor, also sliding. I don't know how and why, and these things started some years ago, but wasn't invisible, or was, but thought is it because when we had a problem with the roof, the roof was built back and built up again with some low quality material, and but mostly saving the house from the rain and the snow. Some places leaking, that leaks makes damage in the house structure, but lucky part, mostly of them not in the main structure of the house. That's look bad, but not damaging the house weight covering system. But these tremors and these cracks are yes, and that kind of wall. These was around 65 and maybe somewhere nearly 70 centimeters wide. This is a old stone house, and that wall over here is cracked across both sides. The cracks touching each other, and this is why so bad situation. Yeah, and the only place in the house where I can be in winter, actually, if I had the money to rebuild it, the back room, that the place where have a chimney, but the chimney must rebuild also, because it's cracked also, and I hoping it will not falling. This is a windy place. Now at end of the winter, and when there was the changing the winter and the spring, there was some huge winds, huge and big volume wind. I thought these trees before the house will crack, but they still there. People told me about why don't chop them out years ago. My mother still lived then. That cost money. That's the problem. I can do it. I can't afford to do it, and that's looking nice. And as you can hear it, a lot of birds use it as a party place. And yes, I have some money out of there, which people will pay me back, and really interest. It's about 40, slowly 15 months since they get my firewood, a part of my firewood, and he said he will give back the firewood, or give money for that, give it the price of the firewood. And I talked with him and his family time ago, and always said he thanks me, he grateful, he don't forget I helped him out in the big trouble. But it's a funny thing, I have no income. If someone have 100,000 forint per month and can't give you back across more than a year, that thing, but if I had that amount money, I give it back, if not now, but the next month. I bought a lot of my things as I collecting money across months. This laptop, as everybody can know it, it's now will be 8 years old. I get it from my brother. He bought it in Holland, and it was in the barely basic state of useful. Only the integrated VGA was usable, the dedicated VGA wasn't. I spent a lot of money. I spent more than half of my monthly wage. I had the job that time, and the trolls who say in the Facebook, I don't do anything else, just sitting in the house and playing and sleeping, and that's gonna be a good thing. Some people told me, you just playing, but you suck off in it. And how he can say it, how he knows how much suck bad I am in any games. I'm not a pro. I can't be a pro because my hands, because my basic basic reaction times, because how I see the things, how I see the games. As example, the GTA. The GTA is a PvP based games, as most of people like it, see it, look it. But for me and many of others, is basically just a game where you traveling with cars, makes fun things. As example, one of my friendliest people, uh, like how he can learn about how jumping across the the, the city with a tank type vehicle. And yes, they not cheating, they not trolling others, they not destroy other players game time, game feelings. We collaborating, doing some missions together, but a lot of I can't part of it because the hardware limits. This VGA is a GeForce 555 mobile, and this capacity certainly barely enough to run across in the world about 20-30 FPS. It's well good enough to do basic things, but can't do the most processing consumer place as the new things, because the GTA is an interest game. Any kind of games before, yes, I playing games. This year maybe I can say more decades I playing time by time, sometimes less, sometimes more, and tested of course the car games, another kind of games of course, and every games was the harder part, the lower frame rate when you was in the outside, in the city, in the nature, in the moving, in the wide, when it was big object, many other cars, etc, etc. But in GTA, when you doing haste, haste are like a mini, other games call it dungeon type things, when a small group people doing one mission, not a big mass of other players, no many vehicle, cars, helicopters, scopes, etc. around, but there have a half or quad FPS than the normal. Hoping the next version of GTA will better, hoping Rockstar will make the cheaters can't come in, and hope they will grab the GTA 5 things and put in the 6, because if have two different GTA, that will bad. But a new main code is required, because today's the hack user still around, and and was the funny moment when one of them 2 weeks ago, when I jumped in and I talked with some friends, just killed me when I was in passive mode. Yes, GTA is a good game. It has more potential that Rockstar made of it, but maybe they will get some things out in the next version. And GTA one part of my main games, because it surely barely can run this this laptop too. But I have many black screens flashing since winter. I had more crash, had some blue screens as well. Blue screens was rarely to me. The VGA droppings this is a fail in the matrix, because in laptops can't just dropping the VGA. Physically it is on the place, just the software restart the VGA's kernel, the drivers, and I tried reinstall the actual driver, my last version of it, because this is old hardware. I haven't got any upgrade for it from years. I don't know, maybe 18 Spring was the last driver which came to this VGA. No problem, it's working. Just can't make big things from it. And my other plans was making some, as can say, trendy-ish things, like how build up yourself, mean physically, but this will delay until I can get money to cover it, because anybody can make the math how much money cost a day to living, how much money cost to buy other helping food components, etc., which is really can be helpful, because as see myself, my body, as I said, I starving. I feel hungry really years, more than a decade. Slowly 2 decades, almost hungry because of the diabetes and other stuff. But when I have had the money to buy stuff, mean food, I can't eat that amount what my body required, but need to refill, to can rebuild itself. And this is interest and funny things when as example, if you get as eating sometimes only food was some apple to me. The last 2 apple was finished in my my stomach at Sunday, last Sunday. That was my Sunday food, and I got the trolling things about the apple tree in my front garden, and people see it, can look it from the road, and they made the big words that why don't you harvest it, why don't you blah 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 blah. The main cause they did it, one of it wanted the fruit to make it make booze from it. I like the fruit, others like the booze, and no problem. If somebody help me out, I can help him out too. But how can someone want my fruits, my things, my anything, when they do nothing help to me? They just trolling me, making false stories about me around the town, around the place where they going. How? It's a better thing if I leave the fruits there, what I can't harvest, and the birds eating it. There is a lot of black Rigo, which really loves the fruits. This is their main type maybe, and in the summer session they eating some insects, mosquitoes, etc., etc. And I just killed one mosquito yesterday before the monitor. It's flied without any noise, and this is the future of the bloodsuckers. They flying without noise and make you pain as well. And I did saw some fitness, like bodybuilding, like vlogs. Sometimes there was tips which some maybe will useful to me, how to recover, rebuild my body after can do it. I can afford it, but as I seeing watching tech videos in the net, and I sharing some of the tech videos also with people. Some of them, especially Kayo, again, a lot of people hate when I say to Kayo this, Kayo that, but why just Kayo can talk about from things, tech or anything else? Why that kind of people who's hating when I say about Kayo, why they can't? Why they just really playing one game or two, but mostly one, and not the official version, the Varese version, and okay, but how can they proving how much money they have, and they didn't spend 1 cent on your favorite games, and they talking about how many bugs in this game, but they didn't play the original official developed game. They playing the virus version in the wallet servers. And the world is a very interesting place. And yes, as one thing can make the other, for the miniseries can maybe do some kitchen cooking videos, what I eating, how I making my foods, etc, etc. But this session is suspended as a planning, because my food things, now only the social dinner, which is about half or quad amount as a normal mensa food. And I really didn't cooked, my gas was empty in autumn, beginning the winter, and I haven't can't refill it. I can't cooking any food now. And when get these comments from anybody, why I don't go walking there and there and there, how they, as a normal, almost normal average body, they have the required muscle, they have the required energy, they have the required stamina, fit level. They didn't do it. They go anywhere with car, motorbike, or mass transit, or local mass transit. How they can tell me why the hell I don't go on my foot to the distance which is there and back 30-60 kilometers? How? When a girl said me, you wake up earlier and you will reach the destination in time. Yes, if I wake up earlier some hours, I get my flashlight and go start in the dark, maybe I can reach the destination, but I can't distance capacity to do this. How can I do this? She said also she learned from the Scots. Everybody knows this word, Scots who selling cookies for the income, almost every country have their local variant it. She learned from them how can walking effectively. Good for her. But interest if she know how can walking effectively, uh, how she get weight and not muscle. She is not a fitness girl, she is not a bodybuilder girl, just a casual someone, no problem. But when she get about 20 or 30 kilograms in, and she look like not this type but growing, how can she tell me? And she said her weight is the same. I don't know, I know her some years now, and I looked, and anybody can look photos about her, and I know about myself how my body changed when I gained weight or lost weight, and I know approximately how much this will changing. Yes, my face is still big, but this is the bone and not the fat. Yeah, I have a little fat in my face, but not in my chin, just a little hair. And this is as interest part of me, because as anybody can see, look medium or bigger fat type peoples, especially males, how much fat they have in the here under the head. And my luckily I never had, my fingers always was bony. Of course now they still bony, but they little thicker to the watering problems, as my side effect of the diabetes. As I said before, the doctor said it will be worse. He doesn't said anything. How can I fix it? How can I make the water system will be better, not becoming boiled from the water, but become back the normal version. And some people get weight to his arms, some to legs, stomach, butt, some get weight to their forehead. It's really interest and sometimes funny things, except for the someone who get these things. But hey, I didn't told a word about how that girl get weight, and that wasn't muscle, it was just plain fat. And she talking about me, how the hell she was angry, attacking lines about it, how I didn't walking that small amount of distance. Yes, 30 kilometers, or even because it was the target, the Cursus place, 40-60 kilometers per day by walking from a limited time frame. You have some hours to get there, get back, get some sleep and go back to study. yes. And when people uh, do things, going to study college, any kind of school, going work to other side of the country, any country, not just Hungary, and they telling me they did it from their power only, themselves. This is a funny thing because they had their family and other government helps amount money, and the workplace gives blah blah blah, and they said things they earned that from their own capacity, their own brilliant genius, and that's their word as get a private message, get these things without their parents, without the home what their parents bought, get. Where the hell these people be? It's not a big thing if you have everything what you need. Your food, your place where you sleep, the place where you do your hygienic things, etc, etc. Doing anything what make you earn income. And of course, if you have no pay bills because your parents do it, because your other family members, anyone else do it, then you can build up amount of money. Yes. My last money what I get from my home, my or other house, was spent when this house years ago, more than a decade ago, fired up. The house was insured, the insurance company came out fast, they did a good job, they covered up the loss, but that was due as the owner, as we, paying the repair, paying the replacement, etc. And after the things repaired and everything's fine, the insurance company after will repay us. My last money went for this, and after the insurance company paid back, of course I didn't get it back. My mother gave a big part of it to my brother, who again bought some clothes, etc, etc, etc. And the funniest part, a lot of clothes was only used by once, because others in the school didn't like it, because other friends of his didn't borrowed it. And funny part, one of the most closed or most best or weirdly, this is the good word now for it, weirdly friends of my brother was the same collegium as my brother, maybe there was roommates, I'm not sure, but not matter. He borrowed the clothes by my brother, sweater, jeans, shoes, because he smoked and uh, won't get busted by his parents. He started smoking at the school, but the everything what was from my money, from my pocket, uh, others get the reward for it, etc, etc. I planned this will just some minutes live about how I now and what the plans for this year, but I see the time is really run out, and sorry about this. Hope some people watch this from the start till the end and can understand it. And maybe if Kayo see it, maybe he can think about a little, but his mind stone rock about how and what I doing. And funny part, when I didn't answer his message, he sent me another. Why I didn't answer him? I'm ignoranting him, etc, etc. And he can see my stuff offline, my laptop, my big tablet. If don't remember, I have a 7-inch tablet which costed under $40 or €40. I bought it with a monthly payment. It cost about 2 bread per month to pay for the IT company where I get it, and that was a good deal. It's have a limited, very limited hardware, but it barely can do the basic things what I need a tablet, because my old Optimus that was info plus is running Android 2.1 maybe. Some app was usable on it when I was in the computer building course in 2014, but today's Android apps also need a bigger Android version and stronger hardware. Well, that type of tablet just can run 1 or 2 apps at the same time. You can't kill the apps as you did the earlier versions of Android. Many things starting and consuming the memory, the hardware, what you can't kill. You don't need them, but they running. They part of the OS. The Android became a huge thing which is not necessarily a good thing. But hey, I get many attacks. Why I get that tablet? This is a basic entry-level thing. Yes. And the peoples who attacked me about it, why I need, they spending in a not a daily but a weekly basis more more money dropping out the window about beers, booze, and other stuff. I am not drinking alcohol, just water, etc., etc. Not smoking, not a cigarette, not weed. Don't using any other kind of drugs. My drugs only the cyber things, games and other things. Yeah. And when people attacks me who's have child, I haven't. I made a convince here. Nobody said I made a kid to her till now, but when somebody have kids, more kids, and these kids have more than one father, and not because she changed the relationships, his husband still the same over the years, and minimum one of her child in the taken from them by the government, and the child is in the government child care facilities. I don't know how can she tell me anything how I do. I do nothing wrong. Lot of people hate me because how I looking, not the clothes, the hair wearing, just the simple looking. And some of people making others to hate me too, and that's funny things and interest, because who make them angry about me, he hate that kind of people. You know, in Hungary the two main races or class, call as you want, the 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 Magyars, the whites, and the gypsies. And I never had big problem with gypsies. I had friends, some still have, of course, some far from here, my now locally, other side of the country, other side of the world. But if someone who white and prove it he's white and he hate the gypsies, then why he drinking with the gypsies, partying with the gypsies, and not the gypsies paying the drink to him, he paying the things for these people. That's how people showing off how many money they have. After they yelling about how many money they lost. Then why spend on alcohol, smoke and hard drugs like cocaine and heroin. And my brother is not perfect, neither am I, but really funny when these people talking about my family, because my brother is a shithole. Yeah, he just said me less than a week ago he can't help me out. He sent me between 40 or 100 euro average per monthly, but that is nothing. It's anybody can, if not living in Hungary, can check the prices, how much costing the basic things. I never eat fancy foods at home. Max if was some event, etc, etc. But when people spending money on fancy things and totally not necessary things, and after saying they may be helping me out some money and others will too if I do things about make my situation better than is. How the hell I can do better my situation than finding work on the net and asking infos about some people who working in the office industry, call as you want. If you want to help someone, you help it. Help him, help her, etc, etc. I saw some videos in social media, like in Facebook, when was some ill people, their illness was some part worse than mine, but you really can see how they living, what they do. They must alcoholists. They drinking a lot of. You can see on their face. And yes, that was one of my family problem. My mother was a problem too, and that's why she made a lot of bad decision when she tried to cover up the mess what she did. That was wronger than before. This loan what she did this to feel better to my brother, and that really wasn't necessary. And what my brother did as a thanks, they picked up, they moved to far from home. He was in the country some years after, but around 6-8 years ago he in Holland now. And when I'm meeting people in the village, they tell me what what bad to me. I am alone now since my mother died, but I have my brother in Holland. They sure he helped me out. Yes, he helped me out a little. I was thankful him for it, but as he said, this is his words, he can't make the same sacrifice as I did. I never asked it, and really 1 or 2 day income is a nothing to him, just some weed. I don't know the prices, but as I heard about peoples around locally who's had relatives in this village or in my distance, but I hear info sometimes how much they can save. And my brother himself told me how much cost to go out, example Holland, to me, and how much cost to get things to get there, because need some clothes to work, blah 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 blah, and cheaper to buy it Hungary and take all of out Holland than buy them outside there. And how much I can save, because he knows me, he knows how I can saving on things, as I said, how I repaired that laptop, how I get other associates and other things. He knows it, and now as he outside from the country, far from home, suddenly he sent me a message, I am a loser as my mother, and if he didn't help me, that will help me out, because if I have no money, no nothing money, that will boom in my bank account. And yes, I'm loser in this fact as my mother, because my mother made a big loan to give the money to him, to he can go to school. But he as him and his friend met some girls, and when they Sunday went back to school, they was in collegium, and just weekends was at home. They stopped earlier than the school place was, and they was with the girls, and after the girls dumped them, they was unhappy, etc, etc. And I said my brother I will help him his final things at the school. I have no papers from it, but I like this section of the tech, the IT. I practiced some. I was able to make enough to help him out. He stopped at the school. He went to off from home, etc., etc. And yes, I have the opportunity to make my dreams true, to make my life good enough as I need. But I give the money to my family, and as suddenly changing his thoughts. Yeah, I'm a loser. Never thought my family will the one who attack me most, who make me my biggest damage as money. As you can see, around 23,000 euros now what the bank want from me. And yes, and when others telling me about my family, my great brother, and many of people really know the truth about how much money I had years ago, and they know my money went to my family, went to my brother, and I was surprised how they know. I didn't tell them, I didn't tell anybody. My mother did. When my brother went out from home and made suffer my mother, and as my mother as said had the problem with alcohol too, she in the pain as my brother not only didn't send home any money, or just a funny amount of money sometimes, but how he can't talk with my mother, not with me, with my mother. And yes, the chicks around, the girls, the big eye say what you good, and you do this, do that, do from what? I had no money, I just had a big bunch of loan on me because my family. I have no energy. I'm not that kind of guy who talking about too much, but the out is out. I hearing years ago how my family, my brother and my mother's relatives, my godfather, my uncle, when my the last attack, as can see in the Facebook, I never did anything else, just went in the house and played and never left it. That wasn't my choice, that was what left to me. This guy who once beat me now, he said when my grandma lived, she tried make me a good man, good people. I don't know what people mean about it. But when my grandma died, When after she died, I stopped my school. I'm out my school and I'm just playing and playing and never wanted working. One as chronologia. When my grandmother was ill and old, from the free child, only my mother, who was in fight by my grandmother about something what my grandmother did and not my mother. That was the basic, the base problem in this family, and that's why my mother's brothers hate my mother. They was half siblings, same mother, different father, as me and my brother. Just the difference, my brother and I is a legal option. My brother was after my parents divorced, and grandma not. And that has happened long time ago, and people can make interesting about things. And my mother's brothers hate my mother, but that was good when my mother worked hard, groved animals in the homestead. They was farmers like man type mans, and they get money from it. They build up their homes from my mother's work. What she did at home, what they did at her work, not from the money what he sometimes get from his father, who was a migrant to America after the war, etc., etc. Esther, mostly anybody knows around the village. That's why I was hated, because I am a lazy, white human being whose grandpa in the USA, and what the paradise to me. My grandpa come home to Hungary in every second year, was around sometimes, and one free night was here, my home. But we rarely had the opportunity to talking about the family, about things. He went to his brothers, friends, other relatives, etc., etc. And my mother's cousin, who was relatives to my grandpa, that who made the distance between me and my grandpa. And after we get paid out of the legacy, that was a funny amount of money, 10% or lower than there was the mostly years ago talked about how much we will get if we will time coming when me and my brother who died will age 18, and my mother's cousin, who also a woman, grabbed all the the money, and my grandpa last wish was to be uh, in the cemetery of his born town, where he was from, at his uh, family place. And what she did, yeah, he finally did it, made part of the wish complete, but she cremated him, and not a normal ceremonial uh, thing was. And that's why my childhood friend, who I barely met around 25 years ago, he say he knows me, he knows what I do in daily basis. And my grandma, when died, I left my school, blah blah blah. When my grandma was ill, my mother and my little brother came here, and before was a agreement, the free child, my mother and her two brothers, with a local man who was and his family, who was friend with our family. All the free child take their legacy to this man if he take care of my grandma. This can happen everywhere in the earth. This is a good thing, better than go back to the old man, old people places where lot of many people can live their last days. But there was things what happened, and my grandma was angry to this man and his family, and my mother and my brother came up from my home, or home, and my grandma told us how this family took our things that worth a lot of money. They know it, they can deny it, but they know it. And my mother became guard of my grandma, and shortly of they come up, I come up too, and we did the things with my grandma. We washed her, changed her had like a baby. She was the toilet problems. Anyone know how a baby solve the toilet problems that adult, old people or anybody who has a physical damage can use that method? We do this, and the other two child of my grandma and the grandchildren of that side never give us any money for the food, for the things, for the pharmacy pills, any healthcare things what need to my grandma. And when my grandma died, they came and asked for the legacy. They asked for the money. My uncle died after a short time after my family moved up here to take care of my grandma, and my godfather, who was my godfather, never in my life helped me out to be I have clothes or food, etc. But her sister did some wrong things about the alcohol. No. But when my grandma died, he came and asked for the money. And yes, my mother paid off them, because we are a family. We won't fight about the money. My godfather and my uncle gave everything to someone who wasn't part of the family. But when a family came up and take care of my grandma, they asked for the money. And these people in the village tell me they know better my life than myself. You're wrong. I left the school before my grandma died, and I joined to my mother, and we take care of my grandma. Second part, I never worked, etc., etc. If I never worked, how was I paid from multiple places? Why the hell they paid me if I didn't do any job for them? Sorry, the final part really was too personal, and hope anybody who normal thinking can understand how I get this situation. And yes, I much easier to talking about this in Hungarian than English, but I don't care, because people around don't care. They feel sorry about me. They will help me, but when and how? And when and how? When they need help from me, they find me. When they need someone, they know where I am. When I haven't money for food or bills or my medical expenses, nobody knows me, but they help me. I asking, how the hell you help me? To get my thing, to get fruit from the garden, and never paid for it. To get my firewood, and still not paid for it. For the firewood, a side note, when I I give for this man the firewood. Before times, his niece, relatives, a girl, told me she will buy my firewood for 5,000 forint. The food market price around 30,000 forint. 6 times more what she want to give me, and she told me she gives me that money and I can buy other people's another firewood. Yes, I'm from watching. I know who does. Yes, but they meet each other better. They have history together, things together, etc., etc. Then why she don't just buy anybody else that kind of amount of firewood? We are surrounded by forest and mountains, and lot of people, family, making a living or a side money from the firewood. And why she asked me in the funny amount of money, and she talked about the village in the shop. I hear myself when she talked with the shopkeeper, and she thought she tried help me as buy my firewood, but I won't sell them. Why the hell I give the firewood in the funny of amount money when it worth much more? And the most important part, she knew I give that firewood to her uncle. What family that didn't help out his family member and talking about gross nasty things, someone who helped out her uncle? These kind of people living around who's really found me when they need me, when they need help about what I am capable approx, when they just need a face in some photos to be official their events, etc., etc. Yes, then they found me. But via hell I go and help them. I did many times. When I had no money for food, for bills, for my medical care things, and they yelling around the village and other villages where they just walking, how big they helped me. You can't help, you haven't money, no problem, but don't tell you helped me. I know the methods how I can build, rebuild, repair my body. Just haven't money, work to get money to do it. And if you type of any any kind of search program, search app, things what I have as problem, and send me a link. The first 10 match, that's not solve, not help me anything about it. Yes, this is the earth, this is how the things working. Everything needs, almost everything need money. And yes, I only missing that part. If I stay my home and don't sell it, I had worse. I was only about 20-minute traveling distance from the big city. I was able to find some kind of jobs, but I came up here, spend my family things from my pocket, and that's true, not all the money went to my family only. A small part of the money went to my things too. I bought some magazine, sometimes I bought some snack, some cookies sometimes, but not that huge amount, not fancy things, no, just average casual things. And really funny when people tell you they might help me, but because I didn't do anything about help myself out, they didn't give me any money. I was in the government program, and I hope they will put me back, because this is their fault as they removed me. I was in the most famous közmunka program, better than nothing, but as my physical abilities, I can't and won't get it again, because if you in the közmunka, I can't go to another learning course. You can't go to was hard to get my receipt from the doctor to get my medical pills, because lot of people, for the older people, others, there is a little book where they noting who what kind of things need. The doctor wrote the receipts, and they get the pills, blah 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 blah. But I must go myself to get the receipt, to get the pharmacy. Strange things happening. And when I finished last time, because the things working here, you have time periods, but you have contract. When the contract expire, you can hope you will get another months, years, longer time to get the job. And as heard now this year, lot of people wasn't get another session, a recontract. They lost their jobs as közmunkás, but many of people who never worked as this project, this type things, on the payment list, they get this. Anybody knows the salary for this work around the basic payment 54,000 forint per month, and these people, they are dozens, more than a dozen. They just get to their pocket. I don't know if someone who has more child, not only one kid, 2, 3 or more, didn't get this fantastic közmunka, but others on the pay list but never did it. They just friends and close people, close to the fire. How I can get the place from these people who has child? Yes, as always people said me, I can be happy because to me good things, I am alone. Yeah, I am very happy to died my family, to died my brother, died my grandmother. 4 years ago died my mother too. I don't know people how thinking. How can I be happy for these dies? And these people talking about they are the normals and I am the stupid, the brain defected one, who's just drinking booze, smoking, even using hard drugs. Yes, problems in the head, but not in mine, I think. That's all. Thanks for watching. If you can help any kind, you know my email, you know how can do things or whatever. Thanks, bye. Hope this year will better than the befores and can fix things back to nearly the normal state there was decades ago. This place was a nice quiet place. Now there just a lot of trolls and aggressive people around, who think if they make me damage, take my things that worth money, that's help me